date, we're good.
All right, with our technology working, first of all, I would like to welcome everyone here as we take a look at the first preliminary determination hearing. The agenda for this public hearing is for the board to hold a preliminary hearing on the proposed project. If you're interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you have signed the sign-in sheet, which should include your name and address. After a presentation by the administration and its advisors, there will be an opportunity for the public to make comments about the project. At the hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comments to 3 minutes and that the topic be limited to the proposed project under consideration. The notice of this preliminary determination hearing was published as legally required. At this time, I will ask the bond counsel explain the purpose of this hearing.
Hello, I'm Amy Cassara from Ice Miller in Indianapolis, and we're bond counsel for this transaction. Pursuant to Indiana Code 6.1.1-20, a school corporation must hold 2 public hearings and then adopt a resolution to preliminarily determine and issue bonds or enter into a lease for a project which has a total project cost in excess of certain thresholds. These public hearings and the future consideration of resolutions are the very beginning of the legal process. We note that no board action is legally required tonight at this hearing. Rather, this hearing is solely to hear public comment about the project.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the superintendent about the process of determining and communicating the project to the community and the need for the project.
Good evening. As you know, we've been studying structures in our building for quite some time. We've been hearing from our architects of the different studies they've been doing. And as an ongoing commitment to maintaining our buildings, keeping them efficient, well-functioning, so that we can provide adequate learning environments, we have prioritized different projects that we need to do that would result in making repairs to keep our buildings running in a safe and efficient manner. So we are looking at, as you know, we have done several roof studies, and we have prioritized different areas of roofing that we will need to do. We have tunnel piping that desperately needs done, and that is prioritized as one of our first projects. We have masonry repairs that go along with the roofing, as well as copings, structural and finish repairs to the auditorium caused from some damage by the roofing, and surface restoration in the elementary patio from drainage work that has been done in the past, and then as well as replacement of HVAC units on rooftops eventually, and then some classroom updates as needed.
Thank you, Carrie. We'll now hear from the underwriter about how the proposed project will be financed, as well as information about the effect on the typical property taxpayer. Thank you.
I have, hard copies of it. You got a copy, Amy?
I've got it.
Okay, very good, we're good. Can you build that up, or?
That's as big as it gets.
I'm sorry?
It's as big as it gets.
It's as big as it gets.
Yes.
As big as it gets. I want to use that. All right, that's as good as it gets. All right. Sure. All right, so, we're gonna talk, tonight about how, there we go. This project is going to, be financed, and as was said, the payback, and then also, what an impact would be, to the debt service fund. So we're looking at, so we're gonna take a look, 3, the not to exceed borrowing amount, the not to, maximum, interest rate, and the maximum, term and payment. So those are gonna be the kind of constraints that we're gonna have to live under. Think about the process very much the way you go about budgeting. You're setting maximum budget. You always could reduce, you can't go higher. And so that's, we're gonna take the same approach for this. So we're looking at, this is the budget, take a look at the sources and uses, take a look at the uses, and then footnoted there are A through I different projects that total a little over $5.9 million. And that number, kind of, I think you see that comes from the architect. So the construction funds, $5.9 million, capitalized interest of $172,000. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then cost of issuance not to exceed $228,000. It's a big number at this point. We're looking for a maximum borrowing of $6,345,000. So if any one of those, if the cost of issuance is less, which I expect it would be, the balance would go up into construction. Okay? So we're looking at a bond sale possibly in the spring, summer of 2026 with payments starting in 2027. So we go to the next page. So this is the possible, impossible repayment to be so the max term. The statute allows for a 20-year amortization. The lease allows for 1 or 2 years longer than that. So we're looking at no more than a 20-year term, but the lease would be written for no more than 22 years. A maximum payment of $860,000, and that's out there in the year 2040. The gray area here is the debt, the current debt that the school corporation has. And so with this bond issue, what we're looking at is, you can see smaller payments as the debt comes off. And then in between 2031 and 2032, see another little kind of trough. We're going to create a trough there. And then between 38 and 39, to give the school corporation and the community future board the ability, should you need to do something down the road, you'd be able in the next 4 or 5 years to maybe look at another project. And the whole goal is to try to keep the rate level, not seeing any spikes. And that's kind of what we've done here over the last few bond issues, as you can see, between 26, 27, and then 27, 28, as the existing debt is coming off, and some of those other issues that we've done allows us to do this. Okay, so the capitalized interest is that crosshatched area there, that's $172,000. And we may or may not need that depending on what the final rates are. I'm using an average of 5%. That's a high, almost a 1% high than the current market rate. Again, to set that maximum 860. So in Indiana, bonds that are paid by taxes, tax-backed bonds, have maturities in January and July. That's because we pay our taxes in November and May, and the school gets its funds in December and June to make payments. So if we were to issue debt in 2026, the first payment wouldn't be until July of 2027. Because you can't, you have to levy June of next year now, when there's no bond issue, there isn't. And so you have this very long first payment, and that's what that, you can see that first payment kind of. And so what I'm proposing would be we take whatever that number based on whatever the final rates are. We take, in this case, 172,000, put it with the trustee. The school would levy those, that payment there for 2027, and then make payments to the trustee. The trustee then would take the 172,000 and pay bondholders. And the whole goal is, on the next page, to have a level enough payment in 27 so we don't have that spike. I mean, I guess we could, if we didn't capitalize interest, we would have a spike and then it'd come back down. But this would be, we just take 170, whatever we need. And again, we may not need to, it just depends on what the final rates are. So we just take that and put it aside, and then we'll go to, so as you can see here, yes, there is an impact of about 11 cents in 2027, but because that 11 cents is coming off, 11 cents are going on, and it keeps everything level. And then on the final page, when you add everything together, by together I mean adding the operation fund, so we have the existing debt, the new project in operation, it gets the way up to the $1-ish. Now, what I don't have here is any effects of Senate Bill 1. As you know, there were changes that were enacted. There may be, there's talk that there may be some changes to, so who knows what. I think what we're maybe inclined to do is kind of take a year by year look and see what changes are and how those affect you. And then you had a nice increase in your assessed value. The effects of Senate Bill 1 said that there would be a decrease and we had an 8% increase. I did not make any assumptions for any, we've had nice growth over the last few years, and we've taken advantage of that by keeping the rate up. So, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll now open the public hearing. Remember, if you would like to speak, please sign in on the sheet, which is located just outside the door. As I mentioned earlier, we ask that you state your name and address, limit your comments to the proposed project or financing. Keep any comments to 3 minutes and avoid being repetitive if possible. Do we have any public here that signed in? Seeing none, we will dispense with that, and I want to thank everyone who participated in the hearing. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your time and interest in the project and the future of our community. Please note that this is just the first step in the legal process. No board action is legally required at this hearing. Rather, this hearing is solely to hear public comment. The board will continue to work with the administration and its professionals to look for efficiencies to conserve tax dollars while meeting our educational needs. The board will hold a second public hearing in this room on November 24th at 7 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing? Thank you. A second? Second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting closed. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate everyone coming and all of your information.
Safe drive.
Okay.
See you.
See all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here.
All right, we'll take just a couple minutes and shift gears.
See you.
Nice to see you guys again.
Thanks for coming.
And we will transition into our regular board meeting.
Two steps. I'm sure you figured that out. Two different steps. One for the public and then a different step for the. Okay.
like to call to order the Argos Community School regular board meeting on November 17th, 2025 at 7:16 p.m. Would everyone rise for the pledge of allegiance, and we'll follow with a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now for a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone. Okay, do we have any communication from patrons for the regular board meeting? Seeing none, we will go on to the next agenda item, the approval of our regular minutes. We have the minutes from the October 20th regular board meeting and the executive session from October 27th. They have been in our packets. We've had the opportunity to review them, read them. Does anyone have any changes or corrections to those? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the hearing minutes from October 20th and the executive session on October 27th?
So,
Thank you. Second?
second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And then we have some personnel changes. Carrie?
So we are recommending, Liz Endress and Jenny Harness to co-sponsor the art club this year. And then we have official basketball coaches, for our winter season. Emily LaFree is doing 8th grade girls, Ashley Prochnow, 7th grade girls. And is it Anita or Anita? Anina, I think I've always said that wrong. Bowman, 6th grade girls. Amberly Stoltz, 5th grade girls. Kristen Hindig, varsity boys assistant. Joel Harmon, the 8th grade boys. Justin Campbell, 7th grade boys. Matt Smith, 6th grade boys. And Norman McCarthy, 5th grade boys. And as you know, we've kicked off basketball season and these are all going strong right now. We have a volunteer assistant, Garrett Lyle, for the JV and varsity boys basketball.
No.
We have one resignation for girls soccer varsity assistant and the JV coach, and that is McKenna Burkholder. Reasoning there is just moving out of the area.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to accept all of the personnel changes as discussed? So moved. Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Got you, Kara.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Motion carried. And next we have an athletic update from Damon Bingley.
Something new this year in the athletic department. I've snuck in a hard copy of an agreement I wrote up this fall. I've had a lot of interest since I've taken over this role last year in track. So I kind of ran a guinea pig experiment with 2 middle schoolers this past spring. Went pretty well, and they ran at Culver Community as Argos, but at Culver. We clearly don't have a track anymore, so we're kind of borrowing space. Mike Zahner and I have coordinated this and kind of ran it by what the assistant commissioners, the IGCA recommended we do. So after getting all that information and the okay from the state and Culver. I wrote up this agreement, which is more or less just a big hold harmless, but for Culver. But the general idea is we'll run as Argos at Culver, and we'll attach ourselves to all their home meets. And that's pretty painless. We don't need contracts with it because they know we're gonna be there. We'll run at all of the HNAC events for conference. The biggest question mark I still have with all this, because I know very little about track in itself, other than it was not very fun to participate in, is there's a minimum requirement to qualify for a sectional to get in the state tournament. So I'll need to pick up some events not at Culver, which will be added on to contracts, which isn't that big of a deal. I'll get that sorted out. If I gotta talk my way into some dual meets, that's not a big deal. When in the kind of in the agreement, how this will look, I put athletes and or parents will be responsible for registration fees. The athletic department's gonna pay for it. Any meet dues or fees, as long as we have a team. If in the case, in the future, we get one or two students that are running, that might change. But the fees reduce significantly if you're running as individuals versus as a full team. Cross country's the same way. It's usually like $25 a kid per meet. But just in the case that we don't have a team that we feel is worthwhile putting all this effort into it, if individuals still want to do that and Culver's still willing to have us, at that point they can cover it themselves. I don't foresee a circumstance where the athletic department doesn't cover our students to run, but just as a cover, I put that in there. Two states that they're just only gonna run for Argus. Transportation wise, the school will provide a white bus to get over there for practice and to meets. It's gonna be headed by Abby Ennis and assisted by Chris Willis right now. They're working on this as a volunteer coach, basically. Should it go well, I would like to add an ECA slot for varsity track and field. But this year, they kind of understand that we threw this together last minute, and we're kind of putting the feelers out to see how it goes. So, yeah, that's basically that in a nutshell. The biggest thing is just kind of updating that we're adding a new program that has been pretty heavily requested. We haven't had, I think the call meetings happening this week. And I'm kind of expecting upwards of 10 to 15. More girl interest than boy, but it's offered in both to not run into Title IX issues. I think right now we offer more girls sports than boys sports. Really, like volleyball and softball are the big offsets. Lacrosse is a co-ed sport, so. But, yeah, that's a big update. And then, really the only other changes have been basketball personnel. It's quite a large move and shift of people, but basketball season's gone smooth thus far. I haven't heard any negative comments about the coaches. So I think we're pretty well staffed in basketball. Yeah, that's really the big update. As it develops, I haven't ran this by Culver as far as the official agreement, but they're all pretty accepting of it. Just a matter of send over the agreement, we'll sign whatever you throw at us, kind of vibe that I've been getting. So I think it's a matter just depends on, I would like to just piggyback off of their schedule this year, just to kind of get some form of a schedule started, and then alter it down the road if we need to. Adding their away meets is what I'd like to do, as long as there's room. Should there be no room and these meets are full, then I'll have to start exploring different needs elsewhere. But it should, I don't think it should be an issue to add on from what I've been told.
Appreciate that. And I hope it goes well.
Yeah, I think it will. Kids are excited. We can offer them an opportunity to do something that they want to do, and I feel like we'd be silly
How
not to.
many kids in your head is it that, you know, okay, this is a full team? Is it 5?
I think 5 is,
20?
5 to 6, I think is typical for like your relays and
Oh, okay.
all that, but, we actually had 2 pole vaulters for middle school last year that actually did really, really well. So we'll have a couple pole vaulters, we'll definitely have a lot of the running kids, and, kids that like to run in circles. And I think there's interest, at least from one, in the,
Shot put?
is that, no, it's different than shot put.
Disc. Discus.
No, it's the shot put with the ball on a string, I think.
I knew that.
Oh,
No,
isn't
no.
that?
I saw
It's
it.
like a
Yeah.
ball on a,
Yeah.
Yeah,
called
I
something.
don't know what it's called, but I know what you mean.
No, but
track and field knowledge is extremely minimal with me anyways, but,
You're gonna be learning something.
yeah,
about it.
I'm about to learn a lot.
Yeah.
So that's your professional goal, is to become much more proficient in
Yeah,
understanding
we're
track.
gonna have a lot of
Got it.
PD and track and field this spring.
Maybe at the end of the season, we can get an update on how
Yeah.
they did, what they did.
Yep.
Okay.
I would think you might have some shot putters.
Yeah.
Some
Yep.
field events.
We do have like we've got the farm kids, so
Mhm.
we got strong kids.
I think it's great giving them an opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If they're wanting to participate, great.
That's exciting.
So middle school and high school?
I was gonna open it up for both, because we had middle school last year, and middle school is so easy, because it's not as regulated
Right.
as high school. I've not heard a single middle schooler that wants to run, and a lot of them know that our 2 they were 8th graders last year. A lot of people knew that they were running, and I've not heard anything in middle school, at least personally.
But do they know that there's, they might just not know, do they know there's other options than just running?
Yeah, they will after this week when the call-out meeting goes, so,
It's a call out for both.
yeah. For junior, senior high. But middle school is an option if the interest is there.
All right, thank you very much, Dana, appreciate that, and we look forward to hearing the update, so, thanks. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the 2026-2027 school calendar. Terry, would you go over that?
Yes, so you all have a copy or a draft copy of the calendar in front of you. I've met with our union and gone through this, and that meeting went very well, just so they had, some input and could talk through some thoughts there. This is what we would like to present for 26-27. We are in a situation where our calendar just aligns itself in a way that it usually doesn't. We can start a little bit later in August and be done before Memorial Day, and that never happens. And as I've cautioned, it probably will not happen the next year, so we'll take it while we get it. It's just the way the weeks happen to fall. And so we're proposing a student start date of August 12th. Our last student day would be May the 27th, with graduation following the day after on the 28th. The biggest change would be how we've structured teacher work days this year. We typically have 1 full day prior to the start of school, 1 full day at the end of the school year. We're proposing proposing that we have a full day on August the 10th. We'll have our kickoff meeting as normal, and moving back to school night to August the 10th, so that it doesn't occur the night before class starts. That's been, some feedback we're receiving from teachers and some families. That's really long and tends to get late night, and kids that are young kids that get a little hyped up, and then it's hard to get to bed and get up and get going the next morning. So trying to just put a little bit of space in between those two events happening. So full day on the 10th with back to school night, still being from 5 to 7 that evening, and then a half teacher work day in the morning on the 11th, where we could still have meetings or administrative meetings if needed, and then teachers have the opportunity to continue to work if they choose in their rooms, or to go and then just be ready to start on student day, the 12th. That other half then would be made up to equal our 2 full days on the 28th. Typically, I would say 90% of our teachers are done and ready to be out of the building by 11:30, 12 o'clock that day. They're very motivated to get started with their summer break. Not all, but most of them, and that'll work out nicely so that we can just provide a little bit of extra time at the beginning of the year when I feel like we need to front load some more of that in a different way. Differences that we are seeing in this calendar from previous years, in order to be done before Memorial Day and full graduation on the 28th, we needed to adjust slightly our winter break. We would start back on January 4th instead of the 5th. But because of, again, the way that calendar falls, the 4th isn't that big deal to come back on. And then reducing 1 day from spring break, still keeping that Friday before break as a day off, because we have many people that travel. We have a lot of staff that request that day off, and a lot of kids that are gone as they're getting kind of a jump start on their traveling. And then coming back on the 29th versus having that off. Good Friday is the 26th, so it happens to fall on our break this year, so we're not coming back. There's been plenty of times we've come back, been in school for like those 3 days, and then have that Friday off. So again, it's just the way the calendar happens to fall. There was a little bit of concern about not being out on the 29th since it's the day after Easter, but to play around with that and still to have graduation happen in a timely manner. Didn't really want to push graduation a whole week with kids not being in school. As I told Pat, that leaves a lot of room for kids to do a lot of things that maybe we just need to get them across the stage and then they can get to work or carry on with whatever they're doing. So this would be what I propose that we adopt for our calendar this year.
Is fall break, like historic, are we always gonna do the second week now? Because for years and years and years, it was the third week of October, and sort of last year was a change and it got pushed back a week, so now are we always back a week?
We're aligning with Plymouth and Triton. And so I don't really know if they made a conscious thing, but to align our breaks for like vocational kids. So, good question, I wondered it last year, Jenny, so.
Yeah, I feel like that has fluctuated a couple of times, and it's shifted back to this week. It has seemed to
But to
stay
align
there.
with them is important since we're sharing kids with those two districts. So that's sort of why it ended up that way.
And it does line up with the end of our 9 weeks, and then our parent-teacher conference is right before. So it's kind of falls into place with how our quarters are.
But historically, it was the third week years ago, yeah.
Plymouth's calendar matches this at the time that we finished. Triton was still working on theirs. He and I have had conversations, and he's aware of what we were doing, and I think he was leaning towards the same format.
Any other questions? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the 2026-2027 school calendar?
So moved.
Thank you, second.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Now, we have a Gettysburg trip presentation from John.
All right, good evening, everybody. You should have in your packet the actual proposal. I put the same thing on the slide, just not as much detail. so we can look at that and get a chance unless you already have. Good evening, good to see you. I won't be long because my bedtime approaches. So, but anyway, this is something that I kind of wanted to do for a very long time. I just never did, I guess I'll say. But this would be 2026 if it works out. And those dates, March 20th, that's the Friday, the first day of spring break. And then come back on the 23rd, that's the Monday. So we'd have Saturday and Sunday. But if you look at, and you'll see the activities on the screen as well, that there's a lot packed into to that time frame. Okay, participants, my idea, I have two U.S. history classes, and there's other juniors outside of that, but I would invite them first to go on this trip. If there are not enough juniors, we find that not enough juniors who want to go or interested, I would probably invite students from other classes as well. All right, and so that's who the target group is at this time anyway. Some of the planned activities, Gettysburg National Military Park, Museum and Visitor Center, as you can see, a cyclorama and dramatic film, that sounds pretty cool. And just that, number one, that'd be enough for me to get me to go. But some other things.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I've been there 2 or 3 times, I think.
Yes.
Virtue of the Pass program, I'm not sure what that is. And of course, a private guided tour of the Gettysburg battlefield. Somebody from the Park Service jumps on the charter bus with us and takes all the sites, give us plenty of time to look around. And so that's what that is. And other activities, a ghost walk. That's something that Lana, that's the travel agent, and I thought that they would enjoy, something that would interest them, kind of a nighttime thing. All right, and then beyond the Battlefield Museum, I don't know much about that, but then there's one other activity there, a couple of different houses that were involved in the battle in some way or another. So you see that there as well. Notice, just in case you're worried that I wasn't alliterated about everything, the next slide, transportation. I looked up and found 2 words that mean the same thing. All right, just to keep the alliteration going there, I guess, and maybe it'd be funny. But all right, so transportation would be a motor coach that would be provided to be nice and comfortable, and there's a restroom on board and all that good stuff, and they provide snacks throughout there on the way out and everything, so you can read all that in the document that you have there. And this, the price, which we'll get to, includes a 3-night hotel stay at Quality Inn or Hampton Inn or something like that out there, depending on what's available at the time. All right, so that's transportation and accommodations. Purpose, I have 4 here. Number 1, to provide students with an opportunity to experience history firsthand. To me, that's the best way. You can hear about things in the classroom. You can listen to what the teacher says. You can do the activities and watch videos and things. But nothing like being there. I'm sure that most of them have never gone. I'm sure there are a few. Most of them have probably never been there before, and a lot of adults haven't either. It's not right across the state, but it's close enough that it's definitely worth the trip to me. Number 2, to encourage students to develop social skills outside the classroom and school, to see each other in a different light, you might say, and chaperones as well, to see them in a different light, and develop those social skills. Number 3, to enhance academic content and knowledge. And as a teacher, I know how hard it is to get through all the information material that you're supposed to get through. It's very difficult, so you don't have a lot of time for some of these things. I could spend a whole year on the Civil War, just have a Civil War class or whatever. That wouldn't be too difficult. But anyway, to provide them, to back up what they've heard in the classroom. And then number 4, to provide students with a memorable experience. And I think that's really a key to all this, something that they'll always remember. Something to always remember. They won't always remember what they learned in school, and I understand that. But to go somewhere like that and experience it and see it, and it's something that they'll never forget. And that's awesome to have those memories to look back on. And I remember when I was at Gettysburg, and this is what I saw. And so I think that's important as well. And then to borrow from a famous person that was at Gettysburg after the battle, Abraham Lincoln, part of his, the ending of his Gettysburg Address, if you don't mind, I'll read this. He said, "The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here." And so to stop there for a moment, that's the memorable experience part, or experiencing history, on location, so to speak. And they'll always remember what happened there once they go there. It is for us, the living, need rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. And seeing that for real, seeing the grave markers, seeing all the memorials, all the monuments and things, and realize what happened there in the different places. I think about I can't think of the name of it, but the charge up the hill, and Pickett's charge up the hill. You can see the field. You're up on top. You see the field. See how far it is that they had to run or try to get across, right? Things like that. There's a place called Devil's Den. Very, very intense fighting there as well. People died there. All right. Last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. I think that too is something that students will take away, is that learn why they died there. What were they fighting about in the first place? All right, why to again continue to make their death so it's not in vain. That this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. Learning the importance of that turning point battle, that could have gone either way, all right, and to give us what we have today. All right, so I wanted to share that as well. I thought that was something I needed to put in there as well. Here are prices, if you're wondering about that. And the same thing it says here. If we get up to 15 students, it's $750 per person. Chaperones pay the same price as students do on this one. All right. If we have 30 students or more, it's $650 per person. So you're saving $100 there. All right. So that's the prices, and this is the woman I've been working with, Lana Ball. She's from Dash Getaways Travel, Plymouth, Indiana. I like that she's local as well. And going back to the prices, the students would be responsible for their cost. Now it's possible that we could do fundraising here and there. I know there's so many fundraisers at school. We try to do something a little different. I think if we choose to do that, but and I know that's not as much as you pay for an around the world trip. I'm not really an around the world type guy anyway, but I prefer right here at home and going to places like this. But that's the cost, that's the price, and it would have to be determined. And if it's approved, if the school board approves this, then I'll get to work on presenting to students, put up together some information for students and their parents, spelling everything out, and we definitely have to get firm commitments with a down payment type thing, so to tie it in so they can't back out at the last minute. We don't want that to happen, and so that would be important as well. And just promote it, and I would hope that by by the first of the year, or shortly after that, we'd have enough committed to make this trip, worthwhile, all right? For at least, 15, or between 15 and 30, whatever, 750 per person, and that's not bad. You know, look at what they provide here, that's a really good deal. I think, all right, motor coach, many have never ridden on one of those. It's not like a Greyhound or a school bus or anything, thankfully. So that's the trip. If there are any questions, I didn't have one thing that I thought of, but I'll first of all see if any of you have any questions.
What's the chaperone to student ratio? What's that expectation?
I would, generally it's 15 to 1, 15 students to 1 chaperone. But I would want at least 2, and no matter what, right? So, because there's gonna be girls on the trip, and it'd be nice to have a lady, of course, that would be a requirement for me. And of course I would go, so I don't think we have a problem getting chaperones. There's some that heard that this was being planned, and they said, I'd be willing to be a chaperone, so I think we'll have people for that as well.
John, they can count towards the number of 15 or 30, correct?
Yes,
Chaperones.
yeah. Chaperones count for that too.
Do they tell you from this travel agency, how many students will they room together?
No, we haven't gotten that,
Okay.
far into the detail yet.
Okay.
I would guess 4.
Probably,
Yeah.
you say 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Is there trip insurance included in that?
That's one thing I didn't even think to ask her yet. This is not, it's during the school year, but it's during spring break as well. So I didn't know how that would, work with, insurance. That's a question I have to ask her. I just thought about that.
What I was thinking, if someone at the last minute had a death in the family or something,
Right.
you wouldn't want it to fall and cause the price to go up for
Right,
everybody else.
yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Right. Any other, that was one thing I was gonna
yeah.
wonder about was insurance or, the students being covered on the bus and on the trip.
Right.
I didn't know if that would be,
And the last thing I'm gonna say, it's not really a question, but I'm glad that you're offering this, and it happens the same year as they're going to Europe. And that's a much more expensive trip, but this way, students that could not afford Europe have an opportunity.
right.
Are the dates, when's the Europe trip?
I really don't know
It's
those
in the,
dates.
it's in the summer.
Summer,
Yeah.
yeah.
They go in the summer.
But yeah, you're right, an option for someone who can't share thousands, but.
So they won't compete with each other on dates.
Right,
If
right.
people wanted to do
Yeah,
that,
somebody
I
could
suppose
go
they
on both
could,
of
but
them,
you're
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
it's affordable.
Right.
Yeah.
If this is something that really is very interesting to students and we get a high turnout, would you think about doing this thing annually, every other year?
Oh, yeah, I would love to do, maybe not just Gettysburg, but maybe alternate. And I'd like to, make it a longer trip too. I just kept it short this year because, it's, we haven't had a lot long time to plan for it. So spring break plans might interfere, that's one thing, but, so I kept it short this year for that reason. So they're just missing Friday and the Monday of spring break, and then they have the rest of the week.
If it is something that we would offer more than just once, I would like to see it offered in a year when there is not the European trip.
Right,
So that if
right.
you had students that wanted to do something like this, you know, maybe they could afford one trip,
Sure.
not necessarily 2 trips. But absolutely, seems very interesting to me, and I can see where it might be really interesting to students.
And, as far as doing, I don't know if I would wanna do it in, the summer, or just keep it a spring break trip. I can think of that. It'd be cool to go to Gettysburg one year, and maybe Washington DC, that's an awesome trip too. But, for for 4 or 5 days. Whatever. So, yeah, they're essentially that.
Any other questions from anyone? Thank you very much. All right,
Thanks for your time.
having listened to the Gettysburg trip presentation, can I have a motion to approve moving forward with this investigation and as an offering for our students?
So moved.
Thank you,
I'll make a
second.
second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, and thank you
Awesome.
very much for
Thank
the
you very much.
information.
Thank you. That was very nice.
All right, next we have the approval of the Lee Company quote for the rear auditorium curtain for the musical. You want to explain what that
If
is?
you guys don't want to stay for the rest, you don't have to. You're dismissed, but you're welcome to listen to the rest. Yes, I will do my best to explain what this curtain is. That's a very good question today when we were talking about it. This is not a curtain that is just for like one leg. It's not just a specific prop. It is, something I've learned this year. It's called a scrim, and so I had to ask what in the world is a scrim, and they showed me. It's a very large piece of material that covers, it's the very back of the auditorium stage. It basically covers the cinder block wall. It is like a whiter cream muslin material, and it just looks like a giant sheet, but then it will roll up and down, and they utilize that. There are curtains that go up and down in front of that and projections, but it would be there to prevent shadowing, I believe, and so that as you're projecting light back there, it's not going all the way through, but it's definitely needed from what I'm understanding to move forward with the musical. We're okay for Friday show and for concerts, but we need to get this approved and up so that musical could go off. We have not had to, this was the original script, so it was about 30 years old, and it has finally just, I'm assuming, just kind of rotted away. It's very heavy, and so they were practicing one day, and he heard the ripping, and he went and looked and just continued to watch it all fall down. So it's definitely needed, and we did get our use out of the first one, and it's just time to replace it. They're just very expensive. So, and in our office, we like to play a little game of how much do we think this is going to cost. Kelly thought this was going to be much more than it was. I was shocked at how much piece material. So it's just always fun to learn the different things and the price tags that come with them. But we will have a very happy music and tech theater director if we can please replace this scrim so they can move on with their musical.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions?
This coming out of operations? So there's no leftover bond funds anywhere for?
No, it will have to come out of operations. And we did go with, I will make note, we did go with Lee Company, Sean, who works with us very well on many different things. He came and measured it. He's like, oh, I know what a scrim is. And so we showed up the next week and we went back there and he did his measurements. They will install it. That is one reason why I chose to go. We did get some other quotes. This one was slightly higher, but this included installation and the others would not. And I feel like he will make it right. So, they're gonna have to get up on a lift and get that up there. And he's just really good to work with. And so if something would go wrong or if it wasn't quite right, I know that he will make it right.
Okay, and the invoice, we have the invoice in our packet, or the quote in our packet, so we can see all the information ahead of time. Can I have a motion to approve the Lee Company quote for the rear auditorium curtain scrim for the musical? Thank you, second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the LWC invoices. There are 3 of them. They include lighting replacements, site improvements, and the future bond study. $48,270.42, $855, and $22,562.50. Can I have a motion to approve those three invoices?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have the approval of the DA Dodd invoice for labor and materials for the walk-in cooler that was not keeping its proper temperatures. My understanding is that it is now working.
Yes, everything in the
Good thing.
kitchen is
Yep.
with our freezer and our water cooler over.
And once again, we have this invoice in our packet. We had the opportunity to look at it. Does anyone have any questions in regards to that invoice? Can I have a motion to approve the DA Dodd invoice?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Excuse me, motion carried. And now we have a superintendent report.
I just wanted to update you on Literacy Night. I know last board meeting, Tori was in and talked about, what she was putting together and in hopes that we would have a good turnout, and we certainly did. So, if you get a chance, take a peek on our website. We have some pictures posted and just a little write-up. We had a really nice turnout, with families. Many even brought their grandparents. We had over 130 people attend. And so the gym 3 was packed with kids and family members, and it was a very nice event and very nice, to see families interacting around reading activities. The Argos Library was present, and they actually signed up 5 families for their very first library cards. So I think that was a nice way to reach out to the community, and I was very happy that they were here with us as well. We involved high school students, and they volunteered. We had the school mascot running around, which is always a big hit. They were also helping with interpreting and different photo opportunities through the evening. They were able to give over 100 books away through participation in parts of their raffle prizes. So I think every student or family, at least family, left with at least one book, if not multiple items. And we were able to offer activities that were dual languages, as well as special needs sessions that were purposely planned so that all learners that showed up could participate in families. I did walk around and take a lot of photos, but it was really nice just to see all the different rooms have their own spin on different activities. Families were given kind of a menu to choose from, and they were able to choose between, I think there were 3 or 4 different rotations, and they were able to go pick and choose what they wanted to participate in. And they all had a great deal of variety in between, so they weren't all the same. It was fun coming from my previous position as principal, elementary principal, to see some of those kids that used to be very shy. They wouldn't speak out in class, or they just didn't want to engage in that type of activity. They were working with mom and dad. One student I can think of in particular was writing a story, and the student used to have, it was a great deal of anxiety to get the student to write. There would be many meltdowns, crying, and tears, and he was so excited. It was like rolling the dice, and then you would finish the sentence to write your story. And he wrote a story, and then he chose to stand up and read the story. And there were other people in the room, and I was just really thrilled to see that. And so, it was a really nice way to engage learners in a different atmosphere, even though it was still at school. And I know that they want to make plans to do it again next year. So, I was excited to see that, and they were excited to see that as well. Cultivate updates. We've been tracking this because of SNAP benefits ending. We just, we've been a little worried about our families and things that were taking place. I feel like that's kind of working itself out now, but Cultivate numbers have increased through this, and we are up to 37 students. And so, again, it speaks to the need when there are food insecurities and shortages in the community. So I'm very glad that Ancilla was able to get their cooler situations repaired as well, and that we will be picking up on, well, I say on a regular basis, but we're going to hit Thanksgiving break, and I know that there will be an off week there. We will provide until they stop their pickup for the holiday, and then we will pick right back up again. So that has increased. We have 25 students that have signed up for the Dragon Packs, which we've talked about. So between Cultivate and the Dragon Packs, we are providing a lot of, I guess, supplemental food items to families that are in need right now. Stacia did receive a donation, and you will approve that in a little bit, but from the Oddfellows to go towards those Dragon Packs as well, which is helpful because with the increase in food costs, those are coming in a little bit higher than what she was anticipating, but we're still making that work right now. And then with the Kindness Club, that's up and running, and she's just been really good to keep me updated with that since it's brand new. They were having their first meeting November 6th. They had 40 students attend, so it's been a very well planned and well sought out club that they are working on. And they were going to have, actually this was last week, they were having like a special week where like Monday was compliment day. So they were just kind of focusing on different activities to do, which gives 3 sincere compliments to classmates or teachers. Helping Hands was on Tuesday, offered to help someone. Carry materials, clean up or share supplies. November 12th was Gratitude Day, write a thank you note or draw a picture for someone who helps you. And then November 13th was World Kindness Day. They would wear purple, that must be the color assigned to that. Invite someone new to play at recess or sit with you at lunch. And then Friday was Surprise Kindness, do a random act of kindness without telling anybody, like leaving a note or picking up trash or whatever you find around. So they're just trying to weave things into this kindness club and bring awareness to that, and that really ties in nicely with character development that she's also doing through her normal methods and channels throughout the day. So
Do they meet after school?
they are, yeah, I believe they are meeting after school. I know that we kind of left some of that open to have some service, possibly throughout the day too, like more of like a younger student council to possibly help distribute these Dragon Packs or pack them. So I'm not sure if she's pulling like select group. I think she's still kind of working through that piece.
The Dragon Packs, do some kids get a Dragon Pack and Cultivate? Like, can they do both?
I think they can do both. I believe she was possibly targeting different
Trying to cover
families,
more.
but if, depending on, I don't think if somebody signed up for a Dragon Pack and then they chose to take COVID, I don't think she's turning that away. She might reverse that though, so to hopefully hit more families. Any questions on any of that? Okay, thank you.
Okay, now can we have a financial report?
We can. We will start with our education fund expenditures. These expenditures were for the month of October. We are 83% of the way through our year, and currently at 73% of our education fund has been expended. So we are below that line, which is good, and we will talk a little bit about that in a few more slides of what, as we near the end of our calendar year, what we will do with those funds. We have not expended 100%, which we should not. Same with operations. This looks way better than it did last month, as we talked about. We kind of figured out what was going on there. We are 83% of the way through the year, and at this time, we have gone through 72% of our operations funds. It's pretty consistent with where we've been in years past. So I'm calmer today about this slide than I was last month, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, so. Our total cash reserves sit at $7,631,828, which is a very healthy number. Continues to pretty much steady itself. Obviously, it's up from last year at this point in time. cash reserves, as well as rainy day funds, which is on the next slide, that has stayed steady and consistent, and we have not had to dip into that. We're in a position where we should not have to dip into that, and that's exactly where we want to be. If we jump ahead to remaining appropriations, we can talk a little bit about, as I just mentioned, we're 83% of the way through the year, 73% of the way through our funds. So that means if we stay on that track, we will have excess funds in education towards the end of the year. Mr. Spiker has been working with me as he teaches me how he's handled this in the past, to move basically monies forward. As you told me, you call that accruing, we call that encumbering. So we will open those POs. We aren't necessarily paying these bills now, but I would ask you to consider opening these POs so that we can set that money aside towards paying forward our Trinity Health, which is our nursing services. Everything on this slide is only to come out of education fund, so you're only gonna see things that we can legally take from education fund. We can pay our nursing staff through education fund. Indiana TRF is the teacher retirement fund, so we are looking to pay towards that 90,000. Mace Health Insurance, that's a large one at 240,000, and then Delta Dental, Anthem Vision, PERF for classified staff, 15,000, and then security benefits, 50,000. So in order to protect our education budget going into next year, this is a very healthy move so that we can set these funds aside, and it'll, as we work through our budget next year, it'll keep us below that line basically. If we are not able to do this, then our graphs are gonna look extremely different as we move through the year. They're gonna be much tighter and closer to where we see our percentages and that line meeting. Remaining appropriation of 100,000. If our projections are correct, that means we should, at the end of this, have 100,000 that we can then move into cash balance. Did I say all that correctly, Mr. Spiker?
I think you did, well done.
So that,
We've been working on it.
so that amount at the top is enough to do all those underneath? I just didn't think it was that much. Okay.
The,
I do.
Yes. Yeah.
It
does add up.
It does add up.
Yeah.
I added that too, but I didn't want to make mistakes, so. The operations fund on the next page is the exact same thing, except these would be going towards things that we can pull out of operations. This is obviously a lot less than the education fund, but this is also typical when we run operations fund. This is the tightest one that we manage throughout the year. Again, which is why I was very nervous last month when I had that line where it was, but we are on track, and we would be able to do the same thing with EMC insurance, which is our liabilities insurances. These are not the full amounts for these items, but they are, a chunk of those items. So eventually we would, start to see the operations as we run out of this money that we're gonna set aside and start pulling from next year's operation fund, that we will start to see that go down. That's why we sometimes see the decrease, or the increased spending of our percentage towards the end of the year. It gets a little higher. So, again, insurance is in there for 100,000, fuel from the Keystone Cooperative of 27,000, which is just a drop in the bucket for fuel. Utilities through the town of 40,000, and then again, we would have remaining encumbrance that would move to cash balance. Any questions on that process or what we're thinking?
We have to
Do I
ask,
Go ahead, Jim.
is our resolution enough to do this, or do we have to submit this to the state?
Your resolution, we just need to see it in the minutes, and,
Okay,
you make the resolution, and then suggest, Carrie and I have talked about it, the auditors want this part, that you give us the right to adjust it, because So we got 100,000 in each one of those accounts, it could adjust a little bit, but if you make the resolution that we pay this forward by encumbering it, then that'll keep the auditors happy, and Kelly can close out 25 with this information.
So we'll do that tonight, or we'll do that at the?
You can do it tonight if you.
I don't have the resolution.
That's what I was gonna say, next
Yeah,
meeting,
no,
right?
we'll do
Sign
next
it.
meeting.
Okay,
We just need to have it done before 26 hits.
great, thank you.
And but doing it next meeting would also, you know, we'll have updated numbers
Right.
again, and if we
If
need
we
to
need
make
to
any
tweak it a
adjustments,
little,
then
we
we can let
could.
you know.
I
If we feel
could-
like it's gonna stay the same, then.
We feel pretty comfortable with this, but the closer we get, the better our
Right.
eyesight's gonna be.
Am I understanding this right? If we pay it forward like this, it protects us from raises from next year's prices on something?
No,
No?
it's just protects the 26 budget, we don't have to start, the school districts
Don't
get
dip
in
into
trouble. In fact, there's school districts around us right now and all over the state that are holding bills because they have to wait till the first of the year because they're out of money. That's when a district's in trouble. And when you can encumber it forward like this protects our future.
Right.
And just letting it go to cash balance is more difficult, because then you can still use it, but you gotta do additional appropriations, and get permission from the state. This keeps you in control of your money instead of having to go through the state. So, hey, Carrie and Kelly are doing a great job with this.
Thank you for your help.
It's a good team.
Any other questions?
Alright, next on the agenda is the approval of the donation from the Madison County Internal Road Data Fellows of $500 toward Dragon Packs. Carrie mentioned this earlier. Can I have a motion to approve the $500 donation?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the approval of claims.
Sorry, I'm writing.
That's okay. And speak up, I didn't write my numbers down ahead of
Okay,
time this
all right.
time.
I am asking for approval of 7 pages of claims totaling $81,505.33, and 3 pages of payroll claims totaling $283,252.85, for a total claim docket of $364,758.18.
Thank you. All right. We've had the opportunity to look at the detail of the claims. Does anyone have any questions regarding any of them?
You know what I'm gonna say, right? The buses, oh my word.
Oh, my word's right.
It's like times 3.
We even talked about that, we noticed, and that's really why you saw that spike in the operations. And
I mean, I know we can't get buses, I know there's nothing we can do, but,
No, but
well, that was a big
there were
one.
2 big things that hit that, and Carrie and I's had that conversation several times.
Sure, and one of them was, we are working, or he's been working on pulling a bus out that we didn't think we were going to need to use. We are picking up so many kids from Culver that we needed to move up to the
Change
bigger
buses.
bus. So,
Oh.
I mean, it is a positive, but at the same time, it's a negative
Cost.
when we have so many of those costs going through. But it was a bus that we think we were gonna have to work on, and we ended up needing to. So now we'll just have that other bus as our backup, and, but I know that there's been some other costly repairs as well, as we're moving through buses. And it seems to be the biggest thing right at the moment.
Are the Culver students all over the board, or are they the?
It's the one stop, so we are, I believe it's at the Beach Lodge parking lot there, pick up and drop off, so we're not going door to door, it's just, stop there.
But it is growing every year, the number of Culver kids.
Yes. Which is a positive.
Any other questions? All right, can I have a motion to approve the claims, payable claims of $81,505.37, payroll of $283,252.85, for total claims of $364,758.18.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Last but not least, any closing comments from anyone?
recall that I will not be at the meeting on Monday, the public hearing. I think the three of you confirmed that I will be here.
You will.
Well, three's
Will not be,
right?
right?
Three's not.
Three will do it. You need three of you.
Okay.
A week from tonight, right?
That's
Yeah.
seven. Yes.
Another exciting public hearing.
Hope it's as exciting as
That's
too.
That's I agree.
Okay.
I'll try to log on and watch.
Thanks, let us know how it goes.
Are we posting those, I mean, like, to the?
They are posted,
Okay.
they're live.
It's live.
Well, I didn't know, is it gonna stay on the website
It
though?
will,
Can you,
yes.
can you access it immediately?
No,
Okay.
we,
Yes,
she
it'll
has to,
be a,
she has to put it
She
in her
has to
folder
put it on.
and then attach it. Like right now, if they log
the
in.
recording,
Mhm.
Right.
Yes, yes.
That's what I meant, if I missed the meet, let's say I missed a meeting and then needed to access it, is that like 24 hours, 48 hours? I didn't know if we were bound to have it posted within so much. Next day? Okay.
But there are some steps that need to happen. to
Correct.
Get it posted.
Yeah, it's supposed to be next day.
For all the editing. Just kidding.
You're good.
Any other closing comments? All right, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:18 PM?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, everyone, for both of these.
Thank you.